is up? Hopefully you guys are having a wonderful day. Back here with some more Silent Hill 2 Remake. And today I'm going to be talking about two topics. One, the success of Silent Hill 2 and its launch, as well as the possibility of more remakes coming in the future. So let's get with the first part. One of my two biggest things I was hopeful for when this game eventually came out was, one, could it be a great game? Well, mission accomplished. You can check out my review as well as some of my other videos talking about how to do all the memos and get all the endings to showcase how much I have played the game and absolutely love and adore it. So that was definitely a check mark for that. But the other thing is, and one I was even more, maybe a little bit more anal about, was the fact is, could the game be successful in terms of could it sell a decent amount? Outside of Resident Evil, AAA survival horror games just have not had a great success rate in selling, and usually, even if the games are great, they just absolutely do not continue on too much longer after that. So I am happy to report that Silent Hill 2 Remake has been extremely successful. In its first few days, I believe by October 11th, it has sold over 1 million copies, and that is great. And just to put that in a little bit of perspective, that's by a mile the fastest selling of any Silent Hill title to date by far. And what's crazy about it is I was actually curious about it. I was looking at some of the stats, and I didn't realize this, but Silent Hill as a whole franchise has not had a lot of success in terms of selling a lot. And granted, back then was a different time, different era, but as a whole franchise, as a whole before this game, it's sold a little bit over 10 million. That's all the games put together, which is mind-boggling to me because I would have thought it sold more than that, but no, just 10 million. And the most sold Silent Hill game is still the original, the first one, so, and that's a little bit over 2 million, but my point still stands is that this is not a franchise that has historically been known to sell insane amounts, but this is a step in the right direction, but it is just a start, so hopefully, you know, word of mouth and it having great critical reviews from not just reviewers, but players as well, can push us to have a lot of good legs. If this can be successful, it can really just start a domino effect in a good way to have a lot more, not just games from this franchise, whether they be brand new or remakes, but also other franchises that step up. We already know about Alien Isolation 2 getting greenlit. There's a lot of brand new horror games coming out that were mentioned. I mean, I could talk about Bloober's new horror game that's coming out next year, Chronos, that can't wait to see what they can do after what they did with this remake. But now I get to the next part of my video, which is the whole remake thing. Now, because this game so far was successful, and at least in the beginning stages, it has prompted a lot of people to talk about, you know, should Silent Hill get some more remakes, and should BlooberTeam be the team that does it? And, you know, after what they did with here, I have absolutely no problem if they decide to be the same team that does the next remake. And I say it in a way in terms of I feel like it's almost just about a done deal that there's going to be another remake. I don't have any guarantees or anything like that, just a feeling, but I feel like it's more likely than not. But yeah, if BlooberTeam, if they come back and after what they did with Silent Hill 2 remake, I have no problem with them being a team. If they get another team, that's perfectly fine as well. But I do have a little problem, and once again, nothing's written in stone, but I have heard a lot of notes and rumors going around that they're looking forward to in doing Silent Hill 3 Remake first. Now, nothing against Silent Hill 3 getting a remake. I hope it does. But let's just be honest. The one that should get a remake next is the first one, the original one. And I remember when Silent Hill 2 Remake was first announced, some people were asking, why did they do 2 first, not 1? Well, 2... granted, it is the most popular and famous of all the Silent Hill titles, so I get it from that standpoint. You want to get the one that gets us back into the franchise, because this IP has been dormant for a decade until this release, so that makes sense. But it wouldn't make too much sense to have 3 before 1, just from the standpoint that 1 and 3 are a lot more connected. Obviously, in Silent Hill, you play as Henry Mason, and in Silent Hill 3, you play as his daughter, Heather Mason. So it'd be just kind of weird from a story standpoint that you play as 3 first, and you have that remade first before 1. So I would like to go back to 1, the original one, because I still think that one is actually really criminally underrated, and I'd really love to see that. And also, it's a good chance for me to see Sybil again, you know, one of my personal favorite Silent Hill characters. But nonetheless, and I've heard no rumors that maybe they could do Silent Hill 4, The Room, you know, wink, wink here. But I have no problem with that, but start with the first one. Start with the beginning, because I know there's a lot of fans who, after this Silent Hill 2 remake and its success in playing it for the first time, because there's a lot of new time fans, they're going to be like, hey, you know, I like to relive the other games, and it'd be great if we can get a way to play the old original ones. They can bring them back in some shape or form, whether they remaster and do a lot better job than the collection they had on the PS3, or they can decide to just remake them all. And as I said, one of these days, these companies are going to realize, hey, you know, you preserve the old stuff and you can remake some of the old stuff with newer things. That's fine, but having multiple ways to play something, even the same thing, is going to give a lot of people a lot more options and perspective. So hopefully they can figure that out and not do something Resident Evil style. But anyway, obviously a lot of success with Silent Hill, and I'm happy to see it. As I said, I was really nervous going into this thing, just from a standpoint of I want it to be successful. I want it to revive the franchise. It's criminal that Silent Hill has been dormant for a decade. I mean, it just doesn't sit right with me personally, someone who loves horror games, and seeing it done a lot of justice in this remake and seeing the possibility of not just having remakes but also brand new titles, because we do have 2 brand new titles. And I have no problem. I know some people get a little annoyed with the reliance on remakes, and I get it, but as long as the games are solid and good, I don't have a problem with it. And if you mix it up as well, you know, I like having, you know, a brand new title and a remake. But I guess in Silent Hill's case, when you've been gone for 10 years, it's a little bit different than Resident Evil's case. I just want to see anything from Silent Hill, whether it be old games brought back with a new coat of paint, whether they're remastered, remade, or brand new titles. It's just, I still can't get rid of the fact that this franchise, and as I said, that's on fault of Konami, that it's just, they've been basically just sitting there collecting dust, and that's just not right. So hopefully this is the beginning of something new. It's got a great start, as I mentioned. But at the end of the day, I always like to tell you this. This is ultimately my opinion, and I'd like to hear your guys' opinion in all this. How do you feel about the possibility of more remakes in the Silent Hill franchise? Are you someone that thinks they should start with 1, since they technically skipped it the first time, but as I said, understandably so? Should they go straight to 3? Or should they do 4? Or maybe there's another Silent Hill title you'd like to see remade next. Let me know down in the comment section down below. And also, if you have played Silent Hill 2 Remake yet, tell me how did you feel about it. Did you enjoy it? Are you a new fan or are you an old fan? You know, did it get you back in the franchise, or did it just earn you into the franchise as a newer player? Let me know down below in the comment section. But thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video, and hopefully I can see you guys back in the next one. Thanks, and I'll see you all later. Peace.